Hello students, welcome back to the next video lesson of chapter Introduction to Function. So in today's video we are going to discuss about modules. In the previous video we have discussed about built-in functions. So basically what is the meaning of module? So it is just like a Python file which contains functions and variables defined in separate files. It means we will have different files. In one of the files there may be functions, in another files there may be variables. So it just contains a file having some code written in Python. So whenever a program is divided into smaller modules, then each module has some functions and some variables, and those functions perform specific task. Okay, जब भी किसी प्रोग्राम को हम मॉड्यूल में डिवाइड करते हैं तो हर एक मॉड्यूल में कुछ फंक्शंस भी होते हैं और कुछ वेरिएबल्स भी होते हैं. तो वो जो भी फंक्शंस होते हैं वो एक स्पेसिफिक टास्क परफॉर्म करते हैं. ओके, सो when we define one or more such functions which we want to use in other program, then we write functions in module. This module can be imported in programs as per requirement. Normally when we write functions in module, so when we want to use the concept of reusability code, basically the significance of function is itself reusability of code. But suppose we want that once we should write a code, okay, and saved under a function name, and if we want to use in some other program, okay, then those types of function can be written under modules, so that in whichever program we want to use that particular function, then what we will do, we will first import that module and then we can use those functions. Okay, तो जब भी हम ऐसा कोई फंक्शन डिफाइन करते हैं जिसको हमें किसी और प्रोग्राम में, उस प्रोग्राम के अलावा किसी और प्रोग्राम में भी हम उसे यूज़ करना चाहते हैं, तब हम वैसे फंक्शंस को कहाँ डिफ़ाइन करते हैं बेटे? तब हम वैसे फंक्शंस को मॉड्यूल के अंदर डिफ़ाइन करते हैं. ठीक है, और जब भी हमें इस मॉड्यूल की ज़रूरत पड़ती है हम अपने प्रोग्राम में उसको इम्पोर्ट कर लेते हैं. फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल, जब अगर हम बात करें पावर फंक्शन की, ठीक है, हम सबको पता है क्लास 11 में आपने डिस्कस किया होगा ज़रूर ये पावर फंक्शन. दिस पावर फंक्शन बिलोंग्स टू विच मॉड्यूल? इट बिलोंग्स टू मैथ मॉड्यूल. तो ऑलरेडी किसी ना किसी ने इसके लिए भी कोडिंग कर रखा होगा और इसको किस मॉड्यूल के अंदर में रखा है? मैथ मॉड्यूल के अंदर में रखा है. तो ऐसा क्यों किया गया बेटे? क्योंकि हमें पता है कि हमें मोस्ट ऑफनली ये पावर फंक्शन को यूज़ करना पड़ता है. ठीक है, तो जब हम बड़े बड़े प्रोग्राम लिखते हैं तो हर एक बार हमें पावर फंक्शन का कोड न लिखना पड़े, इसके लिए ऑलरेडी ये पावर कैलकुलेट करने के लिए फ्यू लाइन्स ऑफ कोड आर ऑलरेडी रिटन अंडर पावर फंक्शन ऑफ विच मॉड्यूल? मैथ मॉड्यूल. ठीक है, तो जब भी हमें ज़रूरत पड़ती है कि हम पावर कैलकुलेट करें, what we used to do, we first import the math module, and then we use this power function. So normally whenever we want to use some functions in another program, then we used to write those functions under the module. Okay, so next is how we import modules in our program. Okay, so there are two different ways to import modules. First one is import statement, means we may write import math only. Okay, what it will do, it will import all the modules from the it will import the whole modules, means all the functions that are present in that particular modules will be imported in our program. But if you will write like this, that from statement, then what will happen, a particular function will be imported from that module. Okay, so for example, let us see this. Suppose I am writing bete import math. Okay, now what does it mean? That all the whole modules have been imported. And suppose I am writing here math, I want to use here a power function. Okay, now since the whole module have been imported, so before using power function you have to specify that from which module it is coming from. So here we have to write math.pow, and if I will write 2 comma 3, then it will give us what? 2 to the power 3, and then print a. Sorry, let us see what it is giving. 8. Okay, now the another way to import module may be from. Suppose math, I want only what bete, I want only power function to be imported. Okay, so from math module I want to import what, only power function. So here you can write only power and then 2 comma 3 and then print a. Now what will be the output here? Again we are having here 8. Now see what is the difference beta here. Here in this import statement already we have specified that only power function we want to import from the math module. So here no need to specify that power function belongs to which module. But here since we have imported the whole module, so you have to mention here that this power function belongs to math module. So this is the different these two are the different ways to import any module. If you want to import the whole module, then you can use the first method. If you want to import any specific function from that particular module, then you may go with the second option and see the differences in the syntax also. Okay, now coming back to the topic. So these were the two methods to import modules. Now some modules which you have learned in class 11th are first one, math modules that we are discussing about. So math modules have this many functions. I hope these functions must be taught to you in class 11th. This is ceil function, this is floor, this will calculate power, this will calculate square root, this is log base 10, cos function, sine function, tan function. Okay, so but if these functions are not known to you, you may ask me so that I can have a separate video on this function, because these are the parts of class 11. Okay, now help function. Suppose you want to know about some function belong to any particular module, then you have to use which function? With a help function. Now how to use that one, let us see. You have to write help function and help function, and then suppose we want to know about math dot sqrt. We want to know about that, how sqrt function from math module works. So we have to write like this and see, it will explain you that sqrt function return the square root of x. So only we have to use write here one parameter so that it will give us the square root. So suppose you want to write know about sine function, then see, it returns the sine value of x. Okay, if you want to know about the power function, then now see, it returns x to the power y. So similarly help function works. It will let you know about any of the function belongs to any particular module. Okay, now next one is string module. So again, I'm not going to discuss here string module beta, because these functions are already these functions was the part of class 11th and you must have been taught about these functions. Still I am asking that if any of the function is unknown to you, you may ask, so that we will have separate video for these functions. Okay, now coming back to the most important module, that is random module beta. The term random, what is the meaning of random? Okay, so when we use the term random, it means we want to generate values which is not known in advance. Okay, just so what happens here, that random module is used to generate some pseudo random numbers. Okay, suppose when we are using that dice, when we are throwing a dice, we don't know which number will come. It comes on the basis of it comes randomly. Okay, so here we are having the same concept, that random module is used to generate values which is not known in advance, and some of the functions are there in Python which help us to generate some random values. Okay, so let us see one by one what are those functions. First function is beta range function. What it will do? it will generate an integer. Remember, these things are important beta, whether this function is going to generate integer or this function is going to generate floating point numbers. And the another important thing is what is the range of the generated numbers. Okay, so you must keep these two things in your mind, that which type of number will be generated and what will be the range of that generated values. Okay, so let us come to the first one, that is rand range function. So it will generate beta an integer between its lower and upper argument. Okay, so suppose we have given two numbers, two arguments. So what it will do, it will generate any number between this lower and upper value, and it will generate integer number between that lower and upper value. And remember that upper argument will remain excluded. Okay, and what is the another important thing about this function beta, if we have not mentioned the lower argument, then by default the lower argument will be 0, and if upper argument is missing, then by default the upper argument will be 1. So let us take two values. Okay, and here see the important part is upper limit is excluded. Let us see this one. Okay, so since we are going to use random module, first we have to import the function module random. Okay beta, so what else we will we do, suppose I am writing here a random and name of the function is ran range. Okay, I am giving two values and my values are 2, 8. Now I am printing a. Okay, now what do you think, what can be the possible output? It will give us any integer value between 2 to 8. Okay, but not 2 to 8, 2 to 8 minus 1, because the upper value remains excluded. Okay, so let us execute this one. See, we have got 7. Okay, let us execute this again. It will give you different output. Now see, this time we are having 5. Okay, so you may have different outputs, but the range will always be from 2 to between 2 to 8, but this 8 will remain excluded. So it will give you the values from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, so see, you will have different values, you will have any values, but not less than 2 and not greater than equal to 8. Okay, this is the use of rand range function. So it is generating random values but limited random values. And what is the range? The range is same that we have specified. Okay, now coming to the second random function. Now the second random function is very only random function. Now what it will do, so this generates a random number from 0 to 1. Now random numbers means floating point random numbers. Now it will give you any floating point random number between 0 to 1, only 0 to 1. Okay, now see what we are having here. Again here beta, this 0 will be included but 1 will be excluded here also. Okay, so here also 1 will be excluded. Okay, so let us see what we are getting here. Now import random, and here a equal to random dot random function, and let us print a. See what we are getting. Now see, we are getting the output in floating point numbers, and this output may be any floating point number, but it will be between 0 and 1, means maybe greater than or equal to 0, but for sure less than 1, not equal to 1. See, it is always greater than or equal to 0, but it will be less than 1. See, it is generating floating point numbers between 0 and 1. Okay, now the third one, rand integer. Okay, again it will accept between two parameters, lowest and highest. So it sounds similar to the first one, rand range, but here the difference is the upper limit is included. In the previous case today the upper limit was excluded, but in this case the upper limit is included also. So let us see, suppose I am writing here import random. Okay, and here again random, and name of the function is this time it is rand int. Suppose I am writing here 2 comma 9 and let us print a. So this time we may have any integer value from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 will also be included. That is the difference between rand range and rand integer. Okay, now 8. Let us execute this. Yes, see, we got 9. Okay, so you got the difference between rand range and rand integer. Okay, next coming to the another one, that is uniform function. So just now we have seen that a random function generate the floating point numbers but only between 0 and 1. What if we want to generate floating point numbers but between the specified our lower and upper range? So for that purpose we are having uniform function. Here again we may give the lower range and upper range. Now let us see how to execute this one. Similarly, here we are having import random, and then again random, name of the function is beta uniform, and we will specify suppose 2 comma 4, and again here that 4 will remain excluded. So it will give you floating point number greater than equal to 2 but less than 4. Okay, now see what we are getting. Now see, we are having floating point numbers between 2 to 4, and 4 will remain always excluded. Okay, now see, the numbers are randomly generated. Each time it will have different output. Okay, so let us have the next random function. Now the next random function is choice. So choice function works on list, tuple, string. Okay, and what it will do beta, it will just randomly select any value from your sequence of list or your tuple or your string. Okay, so what is the use of choice? It will use to select any it is used to select any random selection from the sequence like list, tuple or string. Okay, so let us see what we are getting here. Execute this one beta. Suppose the very first thing is we have to import our random function. Okay, now suppose here I am having our list, and in the list what list of, suppose we are having list of fruits. Okay, and then grapes, pineapple, let it be this much only beta, and let us try to use this one. So if I will print what a dot random dot choice, what will be the answer? Let us see. Let us execute this one. See, here it is giving apple. Now execute this once again, it will give you grapes. Execute this once again, it will give you something else. Okay, you may have same value, the value may be changed. Okay, it is just a random generated value. Okay, so it will give you any choice randomly selected. Now the last function belongs to random module is shuffle. it will reshuffle our list. Okay bete, now see, it is used to shuffle the contents of the list. So let us execute this one. I am using the same one, same list, and we will try the shuffle function on this particular list. What do you think bete, what will be the output? It will just reshuffle. Suppose here the first element of the list is apple, second is orange, third is grapes, fourth is pineapple. This shuffle function will reshuffle the arrangement of items of list. Let us execute this one. Okay, let us check what we are getting. So it is giving us none. For what purpose it is giving us none? Let us see. Suppose random dot shuffle, let us do first shuffling and then let us print it whether it works or not. Yes, now it will work. Okay, so basically these are the syntax which we have to follow. So here first we have to shuffle our list and then we have to print our list to check whether it has been reshuffled or not. So let us again execute it and see, reshuffling occurs. Again execute this, reshuffling occurs. Again execute this, reshuffling occurs. Okay, so these were some of the important functions that belong to a random module. I hope these functions must be clear to all of you. So if you are having any doubt regarding this video, you can ask me in the comment box. So we will clear it your doubt in a separate video. And thank you for watching bete. Stay safe.